Okay, hi guys. So I'm going to give you a nice, simple and highly effective tip when you're dealing with back pain. So the situation I'm looking at here is that you're in those kind of very acute stages. We've got that very sharp pain going on, and that when you've got it going on, you're all kind of buckled like this. So normally when you're trying to get out of a chair, you can't seem to get yourself straight, and it just wants to keep buckling you forward. Or if it's even at a worse stage than that, it might even be buckling you over to one way. And obviously you can't get yourself straight, so your back's under constant tension. So this is a very effective way to kind of get rid of some of that pain, get yourself upright, so you can actually start to move around with some normality and kind of get on with your day-to-day life. Having said that, this won't fix the underlying issues that are causing your back pain. It just gives your back a bit of respite so that you can start to move and start to, especially if you can walk around, it tends to help backs. But you can just kind of get your normal life back together without being kind of hunched and buckled over all the time. So what we're going to do, or what we're looking at, is that when you've got back pain, especially if you've got a disc issue, normally there's some sort of instability issue going on around the hips and kind of in the midsection here. So what your body does is it kind of works its way down the chain. It's trying to look for other muscles to make up that instability and make things stable again. So it starts to grab usually on the muscles around the hips. Two of the most common muscle groups to grab hold of is actually on your thighs, on the front. It's especially true if you've got a job where you sit down a lot or you're in a car a lot, and these muscles are tend to be in a shortened position a lot of the time anyway. Your body's just going to use that as an excuse just to grab hold of them, and they're the ones that actually kind of pull you forward, and then your back's trying to fight against it to get you straight. So using the foam roller, if we can start to inhibit these muscles a little bit and just get them to just let go a little bit, you should find you better get yourself back upright and be able to walk around with some normality again. So we use a foam roller. I would highly recommend getting a good quality smooth roller. You're not going to use, especially if it's really painful, you're not going to use one of those rollers with all the weird little notches in them. I would just get a decent firm soft roller, because the one with the notches in it is just going to be horrific for you. So the only downside with this technique is we need to be able to get down to the floor, so we can use the roller. So obviously when you've got back pain, you can't stand up. Sometimes we're trying to get down to the floor, you're going to get little catches as you go. And again, it's because you've got things are unstable. So I'm going to show you a technique to get down to the floor. It's going to minimise that and actually make it possible to get down to the floor without having a massive flare-up. So what we're going to do, we're going to use our hands like this on top of our thighs here. We're going to make a bit of a brace to help brace our back and give it some support. So from there, wait for your arms, going to lunge down, then onto your knees, and then from there, just kind of gently slide yourself down onto fingertips, and then work your way out to all fours. And then once you're in this position here, it's usually pretty safe. We can then start to think about using the roller. So what we're going to do, we're going to take, roll out to one side, so we do one leg at a time. So I'm going to roll it down towards my leg, just gingerly get myself forward without buckling the back and aggravating at any point. My other leg goes out to the side for support. I come down onto my forearms, again trying to get my back nice and straight without any buckles or twists. And then when I'm in this position, this is our starting position now for using the roller. So this technique, there's actually two things we need you to do, or two stages. The first stage is what we call the scour. So with the roller somewhere in the middle of my thigh, I'm going to roll up towards my hip, and I'm going to gently come back down, just inch my way along, down towards the top of the knee. And you can do this with your foot turned in, foot in the middle, or foot slightly out. And what I'm looking for in all those different positions, I'm looking for the tightest, most sensitive or tender spot I can find. Once I've found it, I'm going to get myself braced, so I'm supported, and I'm going to try and pull my heel up towards my bum. This is what we call a pull through, and this is the second stage of the technique. So what I'm trying to do with that pressure on it from the roller is I'm trying to stretch out or mobilise that muscle a little bit and try and get rid of any trigger points or sensitive spots in there. So that kind of elasticity comes back to the muscle and it isn't trying to grab the back all the time. So when you first start, it's super sharp and painful. You might find that you've only got like a little bit of movement. That's okay. What I want you to do with a set of 40 reps is I want to see if you can start to build that movement and see if you can get a little bit further each time with that heel coming a little bit closer to your butt each time, so you can stretch that muscle right out. Once you've done 40 on one side, we're going to come back up to all fours, slide the roller out towards the other leg. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So again, stage 1 we scour, we look down along the thigh, try and find the most sensitive spot. Once we've got it, we start doing our pull throughs, and again we're going to do a set of 40, and the goal is to build that movement until we can get the heel all the way up to the butt and back down again. So minimum is I would do at least 1 set of 40 per leg. Ideally, if you can, I would just do as many sets as possible. If you can do like 2 or 3 per leg, sets of 40, it's going to make a massive difference for you. But when you've finished, and you've done both legs, we come back up to all fours. We're going to get the roller out of the way. Yeah, this is a tricky part now, is that we need to get off the floor without aggravating the back at any stage. So to do that, I'm just going to reverse how I got down there. So from the all fours, come up to fingertips. I'm going to fingertip my way back, come up to my thighs. I'm going to grab the top of my thighs for support. I'm going to do my lunge, use my hands, push myself up, and back up to standing, hopefully without buckling or anything at any point. So again, this should give you the ability to stand up relatively straight, relatively pain-free, so you can start to move around. Again, it's just a bit of a respite, so it's a bit of a short-term fix, if you like, to kind of get you mobile. It won't fix the underlying issue, but like I say, it will just give you some normality with your movement. And then in later videos I'll go through more long-term strategies, but as an initial, just to get you out of trouble and get you moving, this is the most effective method I know. Something to bear in mind that when you release these muscles, if you sit down again, especially for a long period, it's going to try and get tight. So I would avoid sitting as much as possible and either stand or kneel and try and keep these muscles from trying to ball up and get you back in that tight position. So this one comes out.